When you find a situation where you need some inspiration, there's an open invitation. This could be a revelation. It's true. Well, do.
Okay, another quick tip or trick is to go up to File, and then we're going to come all the way down into Page Setup. There was one time when I was making a rubric and I really wanted to move it into landscape instead of portrait, and it took me forever to figure out where to find that. So that's the first thing. Within Page Setup, you have the option for landscape and portrait. Another thing to think about as you move into a more digital realm, I rarely have to print anything anymore. And usually this is set at a 1-inch margin all the way around. If you're not printing, you don't need that large of margin. So if you're staying in a completely digital capacity and you're printing very rarely, like me, I actually go in and set my margins to the smallest amount possible so that I can use the entire landscape of the page. As soon as I change anything in that margin category, you see that down here I have a set as default. Basically meaning that moving forward, any Google Doc that I make will have a 0.2 margin. Now, keep in mind, if you change your orientation from portrait to landscape, you change your margins and then you save that as a default, all of your Google Docs moving forward will also be landscape instead of portrait, which you might not want that to happen. Another cool option down here is your page color. This is something that was revolutionary for me, especially as I moved digital, because I worked at a middle school for 11 years and we did not have access to color printers. I lived in a black and white world that entire time. So as we moved into a digital realm and I could finally use color with my students, it was like the heavens opened up or something. I was all excited. So let's go ahead and change our page color just to kind of mess around and get to know what we have as options. I don't like this blue anymore now that I've changed my background. I'm going to go back to black. I'm going to move my cursor down a little bit. And you'll notice that if I come back up to my drop-down menu, it's defaulted back to my normal text. At this point, the normal text is set up to be Arial size 11. I like Georgia a little bit better than Arial, and maybe I want it to be a size 12. Sure. Remembering that tip, you can go into that side, say update normal text to match, and now I'm going to default back to Georgia every time. Okay, now let's talk about some table options. So let's go up to table. We're going to go into insert, and we're going to do a 3x2 table. And as the cursors drop down into our table, let's just go ahead and type out food, animal, and we'll do website. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this top row. I would like to change that font, make it something fun. Sure, let's do audio wide. And let's make it a little bit larger. Here is a quick tip. I talked about this in my Google Slides video. What you're going to do is you're going to look at your keyboard. I'll insert a picture of this too, by the way. You're going to look at your keyboard. I want you to hit your Command, Shift, and then greater than or less than key, and that's going to allow you to find the perfect size font for what you've created here. So again, that's Command, Shift, greater than, less than, and you'll see here I'm just moving up and down to find the perfect font. Someone taught me that at one point, and it was like an amazing moment for me because I use it all the time now. Okay, so as I have my table row here highlighted, I have some additional features off to the side that are showing up because of that row. If you don't see these on your screen, then that is possibly because it might be a button that says more. Depends on if you're in full screen mode or not. So look for the more button, and what we're looking for is this paint bucket. I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to change that row to white just so that it stands out. Sure, that looks great. Okay, so now we're going to come down into this food area, move our cursor down, and let's talk about inserting a picture here. So there's a couple of ways that you can do this, and I'm going to show you a couple of ways because there's differences, I think, in knowing both ways. So we're going to go to insert and we're going to go to image. Now, as we do this, you have a couple of different options. Your upload option is going to allow you to grab a picture from your computer, take a snapshot. It's literally going to open up your webcam and allow you to take a selfie. If you find a picture online that you really like, you can copy the URL for that picture and paste it here. You can search through your Google Drive for photos from your Google Photos or images that you've saved to your Google Drive. But I want you to go all the way over to the side here and click on search. Now, what I think is so interesting about this search, and it says right here, results shown, are labeled for commercial reuse with modifications. So that means that this Google search is going to be drastically different than if I just went to Google Images without filtering. So these are all images that you should feel free to use without citation. So we're in the category of food, so just type your favorite food. I'll just say pizza. And I'm going to go ahead and just pick one of those. So, I mean, you have options up here to filter for different colors or types of photos. You can change it actually to clip art if you wanted to. Right now, I'm just any type. So I've got a clip art option down here. I'm going to pick this one. As soon as I select it, then I hit select one more time, and it's going to drop that image right where my cursor last was. I'm going to enter one more time, just to show you one more time. Go into image, insert image. I've got pizza. I'm going to go into, that's not going to work. Let's see some stock photos. Oh, these are good. So these are all available again for me to use. And I'm going to go to I have these two options. I'm going to go with this one because I know. So this is a file that has a cutout background. So when you have something that you're no longer in the white realm, or you're trying to like avoid a very blocky square photo, these clear background photos work really great. And one way that you can search for those is adding PNG to the end of your search. I'll show you what I mean. So again, that way, by going up to insert and going into photo or image, you're allowing a search for objects or photos that are easy to use without citation, or free to use without citation. So this other option, I'm sorry I did that without explaining. This other option is to go into Explore, which is down in the bottom right-hand corner. And we're searching for animals now. So I'm going to go up here to the top, and I'm just going to go ahead and type dog. Nice and safe and easy. The thing with Explore is that it's going to allow you to do some research without ever leaving Google Docs. So right away, I'm getting some image website options. I'm actually still looking for images. So I'm going to click over here to images. Any of these would work. I just have to pick my favorite. When I hover over it, I do get a plus symbol, or I can click to see it in a bigger version. And this is labeled for commercial use, so that's good. And I can insert that. I think these are good conversations to have with our students, by the way. So here's another option. I can search by adding a PNG on the back end, and then this is hopefully going to provide me with some dog images that are cut out. Let's see if this does. I'm going to do a quicker look. So I know that it does because I have this kind of invisible background. It's this checkered background in the back. I'm going to go ahead and say insert. So again, it's just personal preference, what you like. If you like that blocky picture text, use it, or picture image, use it. If you like to have a cutout, use that. Okay, so those are the two options that you have in terms of inserting, going up to insert, going to image, or using that explore feature. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Okay, now let's talk about hyperlinks. So I'm just going to come up here to my URL because most of the Google Docs, slides, sheets, URLs are god-awfully long. And I know you have seen people, or even yourself, have given links like this to colleagues or to students to visit. And it's just, well, it's just ugly. So let's talk about how to create a hyperlink. So let's just pretend that this is I'm just going to say it's my Google Doc. So I'm just going to say the word Google Doc, and then I'm going to highlight that Google Doc. And depending on how you usually use these different features, I'm going to show you a couple of different ways. You decide what works best for you. You can come up to this chain link. If I hover over it, you can see it says insert link, and it looks like a chain link, right? You can go up to insert and go to link. Or if you're like me and you use short key commands, it's Command K. And this obviously works in a lot of different platforms. It works in Microsoft Word. It works in your Outlook email. So Command K is similar to if you used, your Command C for copy, Command V for paste. In this instance, Command K to insert a link. Okay, so right away it shows that our text that we've highlighted is Google Docs. And I still in my clipboard have my URL from up above for my Google Docs. So I'm just going to paste that in, and I'm going to hit apply. Now what that is doing is creating a hyperlink just like up here. It's going to take you to the exact same place. It just looks a lot nicer. So if you are giving a Google Doc to students that is live, in other words, you're not printing it out, they're manipulating it, they're inside of it in a digital format, I would definitely recommend that you don't do this and you start to do these Google Doc hyperlinks like you see here. Obviously, you can link to anything. You can link to a YouTube video, you can link to a website, an article, whatever it is, but let's try doing that. Another option that you have, and this is something you would have to train students to do, but you can also create buttons. Any image can be a button that takes you somewhere else. So for right now, your image is going to take you to where this actual photo came from, which is a way to cite the source essentially. But what you can do is you can click on the change option, and you can again paste in your hyperlink, hit apply, and now this image becomes a button by clicking on it. But again, that's something you have to teach your students how to do.